Veronica with Nurturing Connections Homeschool, where I share planners, resources, and encouragement to help you connect with what matters most. Now, if you've been following along, you know that I've been talking about my Home plus School planner, which is set up to guide you through the process of planning your home life and homemaking and all of that alongside your homeschool so that it's all in one place, it's all integrated, and it all comes together in an easy way that will help you accomplish your goals. We know time and time again that those New Year's resolutions that everyone gets excited about in January tend to fall away very, very quickly. We see that people will say things like, I'm going to work out more, and you will actually see the gyms fill up for the first couple of weeks of January. But come March, come April, it starts to dwindle. And a lot of those goals get kind of pushed aside as we just get kind of stuck in our ruts or just kind of bombarded with the things of life. Some people also get to the place where they don't even make resolutions anymore. They don't make goals because they realize that they are more apt to fail than to actually accomplish those goals. And so they give up before they even start. Now, I was fortunate that back in 2007, my husband actually gave me this little Franklin Covey planner. And I've kept it for many, many years because it was the first time that I sat down with the process of goal setting to really project where I wanted to be, to really think about and project where I wanted to be in 5 years and 10 years. And it took me through that process of breaking things down. Now, since then, I read a number of books. Atomic Habits is one of those, just a number of books on personal growth and development. And what I've learned along the way has really helped transform how I see goals, how I break them apart, and how I actually accomplish them. So today, that's what I want to share with you. I want to share with you how to set up those goals, how to be strategic in that effort so that you can ultimately accomplish the things that are most important to you. I've been doing this for 11 years, so I know the pitfalls. I know how easy it is to think that everyone else has it together out there when we see these beautiful layouts or these beautiful homeschool rooms or these perfect pictures of everyone learning around the table. I know that life is much messier than that sometimes. It is busier than that. It is a lot to take on when you choose to homeschool, when you take that step into being responsible for your children's education full-time alongside the responsibilities of the home, alongside the responsibilities of being a good wife and a mother. It can be a lot to manage. You are managing meals, you are managing chores, you are managing schedules and routines and extracurricular activities and appointments and school and projects and field trips and sometimes co-ops and even teaching in co-ops sometimes. You are managing car maintenance and all that. I mean, there's just so much. I could go on and on and on. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed with everything, for it to just get so jumbled in your head that you just get so tired and overwhelmed that you can't enjoy that time with your children. And that's why we're here. We're here to disciple. We're here to be present. We're here with our children to truly get to know them and build our relationships with them. And sometimes that can become convoluted when we're just so focused on all the things. So I'm hoping that these video series that I put out will help you kind of target those most important things and break it apart so that day by day you can keep your eyes on what is most valuable to you and your family. Now, the first thing that I want to share is that I am going to take you through this planner because I wanted to set up the planner in an easy to follow format that would take you through that process automatically. You would just turn the page, follow the prompts, and page by page, you will be working through that process that will help you identify those goals and break them apart. If you choose not to purchase that planner, I want you to stick around anyway because this process is something you can replicate in your own planner, in your own notebook, and it's something that you can still utilize in order to help you accomplish your goals too. So whichever way you choose to go. Now the planner is available in my shop now. It is 50% off. for a limited time. So if you want to go check it out, there's no coupon code needed. Everything in my shop is 50% off to help you get ready for the upcoming school year. So go check that out at nurturingconnectionshomeschool.com and click on shop. Now, the first thing that you want to do is pray. I want to encourage you to pray. The Lord says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. So when we say, or when I say connect with what matters most, it begins with Him. It begins with a God-focused home and homeschool. We know that we can map out our goals and map out our plans and be headed in one direction, but the Lord will ultimately determine our steps. And so when we start with prayer, we align our hearts and our desires with His. We align our goals with His goals for our family. And it really helps set us up for success in the things that are most important. So I put prayer first. Second thing is brainstorm. Get everything that's in here on paper. So there is this form that I put together in the planner that says a new year of hope. Pray, list, draw, and think through your ideas, hopes, and goals. So just taking the time to just brainstorm, pray, have some worship music playing in the background, have a cup of coffee or tea, and just work through this process. This is going to be different for everyone, of course. We all have our unique families, abilities, and so forth. So just taking those into account as you brainstorm the things you'd like to see in your homeschool, the things you'd like to see in your home, the things you'd like to, where you'd like to be in a few years, how you see yourself. One of the things that stood out to me in Atomic Habits when I was reading that book was it said that a lot of times change doesn't happen because of how we view ourselves. It becomes an identity issue. So if I constantly say I'm always late, I'm always disorganized, I am always confused, or whatever it is that I am speaking over my life, my actions will not be inconsistent with my thoughts. So what I believe, I will ultimately project. And so I want to make sure that I'm taking captive those thoughts and bringing them to the obedience of Christ and speaking life over myself, over my children, over my husband, over my family, and creating goals that will align with those truths. And so as a child of God, I'm called to be a good steward. I'm called to follow Him, and He is a God of order. So therefore, I, as a follower, will create order in my home. And so just speaking those truths and writing them down will be important. If that's something that you battle with, struggle with, I encourage you to write out those truths in scripture form, or as goals for yourself, and put those up as reminders of who you are in Christ so that you're not easily deceived by the enemy when he tends to plant those seeds in your mind that you are lazy or will never ever accomplish it, or you're whatever it is that you're stuck in. You can overcome those things, for greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. So something to keep in mind as you brainstorm. The next step is to categorize. So if you're doing this in a notebook, after you've kind of taken the time to brainstorm everything, now categorize those goals by the specific roles that you have. So for example, faith might be a category that you create. Family may be one. You may even split that into two as a wife or mother. Personal goals, homeschool goals, home, and social. So in the planner, it's broken down like this so that you can then start taking everything that you've mapped here and categorizing it accordingly. If you have any trouble or want some inspiration with what are some specific tasks I can put here that will help me grow in my faith or help me grow as a mother and so forth, I want to direct you to a free class and printable I have on my website. So at nurturingconnectionshomeschool.com, if you go to member freebies and you click on master classes, you will see something called Nurturing Connections in Your Homeschool. And there you will also be given directions to download this free Homeschool Mom Bucket Planner. So basically what this planner is it's a goal planner. This is where all the goals are set up by faith, by motherhood and home and homeschool organization and then curriculum and resources. So it kind of just breaks everything down. So you'll pick a few of these items, for example, and list them here under faith. And then you can look at the motherhood one and see which one you may want to target this particular year. Now, after you've done that, the next thing to consider is step 4, your priorities. It's time to prioritize your goals. You cannot do it all at one time. Our pastor always says change and transformation happens over decades, not days. So if you try to do all of this tomorrow, you're going to fail. Same thing as the person that says, I'm going to go to the gym every single day of the week or 5 days a week. If your habit has been that you've never gone to the gym or not worked out ever, and now you're trying to do 5 days, you're going to overwhelm yourself to the point of exhaustion or just not being able to get there. So you want to create those habits over time, and you want to prioritize the goals so that you're targeting one thing at a time throughout the year and ultimately achieving the majority of those goals or whatever the most important goals were. So as you sit there and you look at these categories, I want to encourage you to star maybe the top 3 areas of growth, or maybe number them from your most significant goal that you want to target this year to maybe the least one that you can target next year or the following year, and you'll still be okay. I want to encourage you that if faith is an area that you have not built up just yet, this may be your priority this year. Just getting into the Word, making it a habit to pray every day, reading the Bible every day, creating those spiritual disciplines that will help set a strong foundation on which you can build with your children in your homeschool, in your home. So prioritize those goals. The next thing is to break it apart by month. So on the next page of this planner, you have the first 6 months of the year, followed by the next 6 months of the year. So for example, let's say your faith goal is to read the Bible every single day. You may start off in the month of January of reading your Bible 2 days a week. February, read Bible 3 days a week, and then you can work your way up. And so this way, you're making it about bite-sized pieces that you can do each month that'll help you ultimately get to your goal. This can also be used, for example, with exercise. I'm going to start off by exercising 2 days a week, and then 3, 4, and then 5. And then continuing from there. So you're creating those patterns, you're rewiring your brain to say this is how we do things now, but you're taking it in those manageable chunks and giving your brain those successes that you need to ultimately be successful moving forward. You know, anytime we check something off a list, it actually sends dopamine in the brain. It's saying, this is good. We want to do more of this. This is why some of us, you know, even if we don't have it on our to-do list, we will add it if we've accomplished it in order to check off that box because it shows that sense of accomplishment. The more wins you have, the more successful you'll be at creating those new habits and accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself. So these pages right here have been so key for me personally in accomplishing my goals. Other things I record on here are things like home maintenance, car maintenance, all those things that can easily get lost in the day-to-day grind that I forget about, or I'm constantly thinking about. I mentioned this in the last video that I can sometimes overwhelm myself, which is, oh gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and it's just stuck in my brain. So putting it somewhere, saying, okay, you know I need to do some spring cleaning every quarter. And so I'll write that down. In January, these are the rooms we're going to clean. In February, these are the rooms we're going to clean. And I break it down into, again, those manageable pieces. If there's something that needs to get done twice a year, I will plug it in here as well. So things like that get put on paper, and then it can get out of my brain and I can focus on today. I don't have to worry about all the things not getting done. It's here, it's placed here, and it's going to happen because I've written it down and now I have it as a target. Now, after I've assigned everything to a month, then the following step is actually making it happen. So at the beginning of every month, I go to my monthly goal sheet. This is the page that I shared with you in my last video. So if you missed it, it's called Setting Up Monthly Plans and Goals or something along those lines, and it takes you step by step through this process. But to simplify it, all I do is when I get to the month of September, for example, I will come here and I will look at my September and say, okay, what are the things that have to get done? And I will just plug them in here. I may have new goals this month that come up along the way. I can add them in. I don't have to fill in every single honeycomb there. I can leave one out if I'm a little overwhelmed because I have too much going on. Or I can add, there's a blank one here, but this is going to be at the forefront of my mind at the beginning of the month of September. So once that happens, then after that, when I begin my week, I will look back at these goals and say, okay, which ones can I accomplish this week? If I have a busy week lined up, I'm going to be out a lot, then I know this isn't the time to be hitting every single thing, but I can accomplish that field trip I planned for homeschool. Or I can accomplish the social goal I had for connecting with our friends. And so I'll target those goals. And then the following week, we're going to be home more. So now I'm going to target our home goals that I had set up and so forth. So this particular goal sheet is easy to complete. It literally takes about 5 minutes because I've already done the thinking on the front end. I've already mapped it out. I've already planned it out. And so now I'm just plugging in the pieces. And then when I open everything up, you know, when I have my month out, it's easy to plug it in on that particular day. Another page that I have put into my planner to help me stay on track is this page of automations. And so at the top, it says every month because there are things that happen every month and I didn't want to write it down, January, February, March, every single month. So for example, I want to make it a goal to make bone broth every single month. So I put that on every single month. There are some things that I spread out week by week. So let me kind of break down this page for you here. I have an every week box. So for example, every week I'm going to budget. I'm going to get groceries. I'm going to write my lesson plans. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to bake something. And then every month I want to get my nails done. I actually do that at home, but just tending to my pedicure is something that is important for me. And then underneath that, I have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So week 1, for example, this is when I focus on getting my car washed. I do the root stimulator and fertilizer if I need to for the garden or the plants. I want to make beans that week, and I give the dog her heart guard. So then week 2, I focus on the chlorine for the septic tank. I clean out the dishwasher. I do a deep clean of the dishwasher. And then I put soak nuts. This is something I haven't been doing, but I just added it on because I want to get back to those traditional practices of soaking the nuts and all of that for better digestion and all that good stuff. So I plug that in there as a goal that I can work toward week 2 of every month. Week 3 is when I pay credit cards. Again, I do the root stimulator if we have a new tree, and then I make another batch of beans. And then week 4, I take care of any subscriptions. I look ahead, make sure I realize what we're going to be charged for if I have to cancel any subscriptions. I look through all our supplements and reorder supplements for the next month, and then I do a clear out. So by this point, the mudroom has already gotten cluttered up. Our homeschool trays have gotten cluttered up. And so I do a clear out of those 2 things in order to start fresh for the following month. So these automations, again, get plugged in here. So if it's every month, it'll be on here under things to do. If it's every week, then I will use my weekly spread, or I actually plug this into my monthly spread for those that just want to do a monthly spread. There's 4 sections to write here. So week 1 could have car wash, beans, heart guard, for example, chlorine, dishwasher, and I can plug those in, see everything I have to take care of this month, and knock it out as I go. So that's the thinking behind these boxes. Again, they can be used however you see fit if you choose to purchase the planner. After the home planning, of course, comes the homeschool planning. And so the planner is set up, again, to take you through that process. You will then dive into the planning sheets for the entire year. And these are some examples of the layout. So here, this is for student goals, for example. It just has the different topics, subjects, categories, and in there you can actually write out the specific goals. I want my child to grow in their faith, and then put the specific resources you want to use. You can put project ideas in there, curriculums, and so forth. Another sheet available in there is the high school planning sheet that just has, literature and English versus reading and writing. There are group study sheets that look like this if you like to do those group subjects together instead. And the way I've used these particular forms has been that I will list the goals up here. So for science, for example, our goal is to learn creation science or zoology or whatever the specific goals are. I'll bullet them at the top in just brief phrases. There it is, sorry. And then underneath that, I'll list all the resources, movies, videos, field trip ideas, project ideas, printables I saw online, curriculums I want to use, all of that goes down here. And so again, this is for the entire year. I'm mapping it out. It's done once, and then I can draw from these buckets throughout the year to make it happen. Finally, I have this independent study sheet. So if you choose to do group studies, for example, with your kids, these of course are the areas that they'll be targeting independently. So I list each student here, and then I will list their specific reading goals, English language arts goals, which of course includes handwriting, spelling, written composition, grammar mechanics, and then math goals, and then any extras. So these will be the extracurricular activities that they will be doing, whether it's a co-op, a class, whatever extra things that they'll do will go in here. So I will map this out for the year. This goes in my year goals. So at the beginning of the month, I can put those goals here that I want to target for that particular month. Or I also have term goals. So in our case, our terms will be 9 weeks long. And so I do have these term goal sheets that look very similar, but it's all on one page instead. So this is, for example, for group study. There's also a term form that looks like this, where I can just set term goals. So basically what I do here is I keep it very, very simple. If we're working through a curriculum, I will just look at the number of days we have, break everything apart, and say, okay, for this particular term, you'll be doing lessons 1 through 45, for example. Or you'll be doing this particular project by the end of this term. We'll be taking this particular field trip, and so forth. So these are just term goals that are for the 9 weeks time. And again, there's different ways to do it based on what is easiest for you. So I've given you options. Again, the planner takes you through that process. You can see that it tells you how to set it up, how to fill it out, and all you're doing is picking the layout that you like the best, the tool that works best for you, so that ultimately you can accomplish those homeschool goals alongside your home goals within one planner. Now, if you want more intensive goal setting for your homeschool, and instead of just planning this 1 year out, you want to look at grades 1 through 12, or if you have a preschooler and you want to look at pre-K through kindergarten, I want to encourage you to check out my homeschool bucket planners. They are called bucket planners because they help you create bucket lists for your entire homeschool journey. Now, in the pre-K kindergarten one, basically what I do there is I give you little assessment checklists, things you can focus on with your little one. It has a 2-part video series, I'll link it below, that takes you through each of those areas. So what are some things they should know about for math? What do they need to know about science? What do they need to know about social studies at that level? And it gives you checklists, it breaks everything down for you, it gives you a place to record your resources and curriculums, and helps you navigate those first few years of homeschool. And then the second bucket planner is for grades 1 through 12. And so this is for the person that wants to look at that big picture. It's for the person that is constantly asking, am I doing enough? Am I headed in the right direction? It's for the person that tends to go from this curriculum to this curriculum and is just trying to follow those curriculums because they're so afraid to let go and just walk in the journey. They feel like they are slaves to the curriculum sometimes, And the bucket planner basically takes you out of that role and into the position of authority to say, you're the one in charge now, Mom. You get to pick what you're teaching. You get to pick the goals you set. And the curriculums and resources are there to help you accomplish your goals, not the other way around. So I have an entire video series on that as well that I will link below that takes you through that bucket planner if you want to create your own in a notebook. Or if you want to purchase it, it is also available in my shop. But those are resources and tools that I've developed and created because of my own struggles and things that I had to overcome in these 11 years of homeschooling. And I have found these tools to be so helpful in helping me find the freedom in homeschooling to just enjoy the journey. I don't have to worry about completing a curriculum to be successful. I don't have to worry about being locked into one way of doing things. I can use different curriculums because I'm accomplishing our goals that we've established through that goal setting process. So I have a number of tools on my website. You can go check them out. I take you through everything in these videos so that if you do not want to purchase something specifically, you can create your own and hopefully create those systems that will help you work toward the goals that you have for your family. I once heard someone say, the feeling of overwhelm is not having too many things to do. It's not knowing where to start. And so this process helps you know where to start and it guides you through. Now, I'm only taking you through that monthly piece again. In the next video, I'll take you through the weekly planning and or the daily planning of putting all this down per day in a way that's quick and easy, doesn't take up a ton of time. Usually the time is on the front end when you're reflecting, when you're goal setting, when you're working through this process. But once this is done, this is for the year. This is it. This is for the year. After that, you're on automated mode. That's why it's called automation. You are just going, okay, what do I have to do this month? What do I have to do this week? And it's already done. It's directing you. You know exactly where to start. And that is what I have found to be the most helpful thing in being successful in accomplishing my goals. I am not having to rethink everything. I'm not having to juggle through all my to-do lists for today and my big goals. I have time to cultivate those goals. I'm making time for that. I'm focusing on it and I'm making it happen. So I hope that this helps you do the same thing. If you have any questions or any comments or feedback, please share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what books maybe you've setting, any tips or techniques you'd like to share with us as well. And again, if you'd like to pick up this planner, it is in my shop at nurturingconnectionshomeschool.com. I hope you'll go check it out or at least download my free printables that are available for you. I have an entire printable library there set up to give you the resources and tools you can use in your own journey. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please give me a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to find all the latest videos I put out, and I hope to see you here next time.